Hello.
Both the mics are working.
Morning.
We're not.
Okay, any council people?
I do see Councilman Hairston in the meeting room.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's start with the preamble.
Sure thing.
Okay, we are hybrid, so Ms. Kukla is going to start with the preamble. Hybrid meaning we are in person and also online today.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Coop. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning. This is Monday, September 9th. Compliance with notification requirement of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021. The codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976. Notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstention from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that calling users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak in a particular matter have been considered. We've also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Would you like to call roll?
Sure. Ms. Roca? Present. Ms. Wilson?
Present.
Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Bates?
Present.
Madam Chair, we have
Yay. All right, we are 4 board members. We are awaiting appointment of a 5th. Or arrival of a 5th, so, which is gonna happen fairly soon. We have Councilman Hairston, is that correct with us still?
Correct.
All right, as a courtesy to council members, we move their cases to the front of the agenda. Do we have any withdrawals or postponements?
No, we do not at this time unless Councilman Harrison is requesting a postponement.
Okay, we'll proceed with calendar number 24-100. Councilman, are you requesting a postponement on this case?
Looks like he's still muted.
Councilman, it appears you're muted. I want to check, message him,
Yes.
please.
Maybe we should just go ahead and read it in.
Yep, we'll go ahead.
All right, our first case is calendar number 24-100. This is at 12200 St. Clair Avenue. New Step LLC owner proposes to establish use as a convenience store in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, the agenda, and the public record, of which there are 3. This case was postponed from July 22nd, 2024 to allow time for the appellant to meet with the community and design review. That I will hand over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holmes. I will swear in all who are present for this case. Is there anyone in the room present for New Step LLC? Okay, we'll have you come forward to the table. Swear you in. Okay. Oh, you can sit down. You can swear in. You swear.
Stand if you'd like, but.
Seems to be. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do.
I do.
State your name, spell your name, give your address. And I'll start with you first.
I do. Dan Bickerstaff, 3443 Lee Road, Shaker Heights, Ohio, 44120.
Thank you.
I swear, Bill, Reed. Did I get the same address? For the
Bill.
building, both on the same there.
Okay, and let me have you spell your name, please.
AHALEEL.
Was that your first name or your last?
Yes, first name, that's ALHADAGI.
Okay, I'm sorry, ALHAGA.
EA.
GA, okay. All right, for everyone's benefit, our court reporter is, remote today, so, as Ms. Wilson is asking you to do the oath, and also when you're about to make your statements, that's why we ask you to state your name and spell your name for the benefit of the court reporter. And also, before you make any statements, you're also gonna restate your name so she knows who's speaking. Okay? All right, where do we stand with the councilperson? Oh, okay. Councilperson, we're swearing in.
Yes,
Well,
good morning.
Yeah,
Anthony Harrison, Cleveland City Council Ward 10, 601 Lakeside.
okay. I don't know how you managed to sneak in on me, but you did. If you'd like, you can pull your chair up to the table because we're taking your case first. As a courtesy to council, we have to put your cases to the front of the agenda.
All right.
Okay. Have we taken any testimony at all?
No, Madam
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead with history of the property and legal standard.
Sure. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. 1986, it was changed to local retail business. In our records administration office, we found that in 1920, a permit was issued to erect a service station. 1974, the building was converted to a fish market. In 1975, a permit was issued to erect an addition to the building. And then, Madam Chair, there are no variances on file. And in the more recent history, we found in our Acela system that in 1992, there were interior alterations to a shoe store. In 2005, a permit was issued to erect an awning. 2023, a permit was issued for outdoor sales of art. In 2020, there was a violation notice issued to the property due to fire damage. And in 2021, permits were pulled to repair the fire damage on it. And that's all that I have.
Okay, we'll go to legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Helen is requesting area variances from the setback, driveway width, and landscape strip requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, Helen must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the opponent of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Super, thank you very much. Councilman, typically the council people like to speak last.
Yes,
Is that your choice here?
yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
and you want us to move forward with this, because I know there was some discussion of postponement.
Yeah, but we're fine to move forward today. We're good to move forward.
Okay,
Yes.
great, great. Mr. Bickerstaff, I assume you're gonna be the spokesperson?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you'd like to do as it relates to the variances that you're seeking.
Sure. I'm Dan Bickerstaff, founder and principal architect of Bickerstaff Design. And again, we received a zoning non-conformance letter back on the 29th of May. We had 3 items that we addressed 2 that we were able to address. We just have the 1 remaining item, and that's 357.07, the setback. It's an existing building adjacent to existing property line. So it's impossible to move the building, so that's the variance we're looking for.
All right, so you're item number 1 on our agenda then.
Correct.
And you have fulfilled item number 2 and item number 3?
Correct.
So the item number 2 and item number 3 then can be struck.
Correct.
Okay,
We've augmented the parking lot to comply with the performance issue,
okay.
as well as the landscape strip. So if who's ever operating.
That would be Mr. Bailey.
Mr. Bailey, how are you? You can move to our site plan. Yes, the site plan SP 1.1. You can see the existing parking area. And again, with the client, we initially wanted to maintain it because our effort is strictly interior alteration. But when it went through the plan examination from the zoning standpoint in the building department, these items were raised. So we responded with our new second proposed site plan. We have 2 parking spaces to the north, 2 in the center, and we comply with the landscape strip, as you can see around the perimeter of the park. The issue was backing out on through those aprons and onto the street, creating a potential hazard. So now the parking, the vehicles will be able to move out of the site from.
Okay, so you're entering and exiting off of St. Clair only?
No, St. Clair, 80 Road. You see the black arrows?
Okay,
There's in and out in each one of the 8 locations, north and west.
oh, okay, all right,
So the cars can move right in. You see the one car in the middle? You can pull in and then pull out easily or in the other direction, depending on how you move onto the site.
all right.
And then the 2 spaces to the north, you simply back out and you can go to the north on St. Clair or to the west.
All right,
So the plans have been submitted to the building department. That's what triggered the zoning.
Mhm.
Complete permit drawings, architectural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, trying to mitigate an eyesore in the community. Just to go through our timeline and submit by issue this to you guys.
and Ms. Kukla got a copy of this?
Yep.
Okay,
Just real briefly, we submitted plans March 1st. City planning approved the plans on March 4th. We received our non-conformance letter 2 months later, which was problematic but acceptable. We revised the drawing to comply, as I previously mentioned. With the singular variance issue, we completed the BOZA application on June 4th. July 16th, we received a copy of the email by which Councilman Harrison wanted us to meet with the community, which was, I do this all the time, so we're definitely willing to do that.
okay,
Unfortunately, it didn't happen for whatever reason. It did not take place over the last couple of months. But we were willing to table our last July hearing. So we're here today. And I just wanted to share with the board that our firm has been paid in full. Speaking with my owner here, he shared with me that he has to drive for Uber and Lyft to make a living. And this particular store, he's looking to reestablish his livelihood and stop that effort. So that's what I wouldn't say sense of urgency, but the importance of this issue, that we want to move forward. We're still willing to meet with the community, but hopefully we'll be allowed to move forward with the building department. That takes some time and review. So that's what we're seeking.
when did you purchase the building?
It was, 2020.
2023, so last year. So you've had it for a year now, roughly. Okay, all right. All right, do you have anything, are you,
I'm pretty much.
okay. Did you have anything you wanted to add to what Mr. Bickerstaff had to say?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bickerstaff stated that a variance would not be needed or he's not requesting section variance from item number 3. The requirement is 6 feet in this case, and the site plan looks like 4. The
Correct.
variance is still needed. for
Okay, I know with the building department, we presented 4-foot wide landscape strips and
Yeah.
acceptable, given the density of the site.
All right, so item number 3 is back on the table. Because we only have a 4-foot strip.
Yeah, if we took it off, then building and housing would be.
Okay,
100%.
all right. Have you submitted a landscape plan?
No, everything was stopped. They don't even have the revised plans. for the building department.
Okay,
We wanted to sort of work our way through this
All right.
process.
all right. And is there any fencing in the landscape strips at all?
No.
Okay,
Not really.
okay, all right. We'll go to questions. Who wants to begin? Ms. Roca, are you ready?
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay, Ms. Wilson?
I'm
Okay, Ms. Bolter, anything?
No questions from me at this time.
Okay, that brings us to you, Councilman.
All right, thank you. Good morning, members of the board, Ms. Kukla, Ms. May, and those who are listening online. Thank you for always. It's been such a great group. Can we go back to the slide of the current photo of the property? And we'll see, it's the number I saw there. Go ahead, one more.
Yes, sir. Is it these ones?
This one here. Thank you. So, yes, we initially asked for the postponement of the variance to move forward because, as I stated in the email to Ms. Kugler and as my office has stated to the gentleman here, the property owner, that the property has switched hands, 2-3 times since they caught fire and it's been closed. And so we have been approached on several occasions to support, different, a corner store, somebody wanted a liquor store, somebody wanted a beverage store, a park restaurant, just like the individuals are proposing here today. And nothing has ever come about with those conversational requests that we've had. The property has sat in this condition for so long. The city, we have cleaned this property several times for the dumping and debris, the high grass on the property. In fact, we're gonna tee it up to have public works go and cut it and get all the weeds and stuff knocked down here very soon. And the church sits right across the street, Everlasting Church. It will be right across the road, right at the corner here. That's Everlasting Church there. They also own the property in the back, and we're working with them to kind of work on their property. And individuals in the community have had concerns just about the years. I'm born and raised 2 streets over, so I know the neighborhood very, very well. I still represent this neighborhood today. And so the concerns have been the tightness of the property, even when it was Chili's. It was the fish market beforehand. My grandfather used to go and buy buckets of fish when they sold it there, right? And so the parking has always been tight, has always been bad. There's always been some cooperation between the church and the store owner who's ever been there over the years to use the parking space there, or to make sure that the place kind of, was maintained on the outside, because church members and kids and all folks are traveling back and forth past the property here at Eddy Road and in St. Clair. So those were our biggest concerns, about the upkeep, what would be sold here at the property. What I'm not clear on, and my staff has not been able to get a direct answer whether the property owner will be looking to sell liquor or beer or wine at this location.
Okay,
And so that's one of the questions that I have, whether that is the case. I know Mr. Bickerstaff's timeline, he said the councilman called him 4 times yesterday, right? Because I came here, I was gonna come here and ask for a postponement, right? Or for it to be removed, right, from the docket. However, I said, no, we'll go forward. We couldn't reach the gentleman, and, what is being proposed to be sold here outside of, like finger foods and chips and pop? Are we looking for liquor and beer and wine to be sold here? Because the church is right across the road. And
Right.
talking with the folks from the church, that is one of their biggest concerns. Partly, since the store has been closed, they've had very few incidents that's happened on this corner. And so because it is being considered to reopen, folks are, concerned again that this place will be problematic. Traffic has always been a problem in the corner of the city because we have to pull out into Eddy Road or pull out into St. Clair. I'm glad to see that the new site map shows a different parking setup here at the site. So will beer and wine be sold here, or is the property owner looking for a liquor license for this property as well, through the board to the applicant?
through the board to the applicant if you'd like to, and then you go back to the board to the council person to respond.
Yeah, I am into it. I think we submit some documents to her name is Cynthia, I think. I told her everything about what we're gonna open. I actually sent her a link of
Pictures.
pictures of the stores that we own in New York. Then we not planning to open a no liquor store, no wine. It's gonna be sold in that store against my religion too.
Okay. All right, so you have religious reasons for not selling alcohol. All right, so if you would expand a little bit on what you intend to sell in the store for us.
So we're trying to make, moving, New York, we call it deli. We selling foods.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna open like food, and be like, so similar like a restaurant, it's similar like a convenience store. We're not focusing about like groceries, stuff like that. We're gonna focus on food. Much of it on the food and beverage, snacks.
so lunch
coffee.
meat, ready-made salads,
We're gonna make
macaroni salads, potato salads.
Yeah, we're gonna make all of that. We're gonna make, juices, fruit juice, slushy. Gonna make, chicken over rice, fajitas, sandwiches, plates,
Okay,
quesadillas.
okay, so more of a Mexican kind of theme or? Okay, all right, does that answer your question?
Yes, Madam Chair, through the chair, to the applicant. So no beer, no wine, no liquor that you are proposing now or in the future on this site?
Yeah, like,
Okay. All right, and again, Madam Chair, and members of the board, I did not have a clear under, if I was in committee. I told-
It's all right.
Whether that was gonna be the case, because I just said Mr. Bickerstaff has been doing this for quite some time, so have I. And so, I know how this goes, right? There's a bait, then there's a switch, right? There's a property owner today, and then there's a different property owner. It comes a few months or a year or so, right? And so if community is going to support the efforts. The pictures that the gentleman sent were nice pictures. He has a nice facility up in New York that he operated. And so, just wanted to put that on record here today to be clear about what is being proposed, right? Because one thing can be said to me, but if it's on record, is here in this room in more ears than I have heard
Exactly.
this,
Right,
then we feel a little bit more comfortable. And I explained to the church that I will find out whether beer, wine, or liquor will be sold because they are absolutely opposed to that coming back to this site. They believe that it have increased traffic because of what is being sold there, and also just the concern of safety there at that corner.
has that been a high crime area or is it a high crash corridor at all?
It is very, and it is always an accident right at that corner, Eddie Road and St. Clair, always an
Okay.
accident. And so that, the coming out of there is very, very tight. This makes me feel a little bit better, right? Because the way the cars are positioned.
Yeah.
Initially, my understanding was that the vehicle it was another, wait, here.
Yeah.
Initially, this was my understanding of what the spaces would be, like they are currently. That has never worked here on this site. It has never worked since I've been a kid. The library is the street over on 120th Street, where Matt English is. So this has never worked here in this neighborhood. And I'm glad to see this change. However, this is gonna have to be enforced because you know how it goes, right?
Right,
Folks will pull up, they'll hop out the vehicle, in any fashion. But I hope that the store owner will enforce the new setup here, so that way it can flow and move the way that the new site map is proposing here, other than the initial is just a bad setup, and it's been like that for many years.
right. Mr. Bickerstaff, go ahead.
Madam Chair, Councilman Harrison, it will be enforced just from an architectural standpoint, providing concrete curbing or asphalt curbing around the planting beds. So configuration is a solid infrastructure component.
Excellent. And last question for me, I wanted to hold this up to the chair, to the applicant. The building, is it gonna be all one space, or is it still gonna have the two different storefronts? One space?
Okay, we have the floor plan, Mr. Bay, pulling it up now. So just to walk you through the space, we have our entry from the west, coolers to the back of the store to the east, shelving in the middle of the space, and our cashier area and small deli kitchen to the south.
Yeah.
There's some three-dimensional drawings that we have as well.
Okay. Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm fine. That was the issues raised by the community and myself, again, just born and raised in the neighborhood, still.
Right.
Family still there. I'm in the Eddie Road, St. Clair all the time, right? And so I know what happens here. We just want to make sure that we don't have what we had before.
Right.
On that corner, and it looks like that we won't have that. I'm even more comfortable with the fact that I know that beer, wine, and liquor will not be sold in that corner because that kept a lot of the, I'll just say drama that was happening. there.
Right,
That-
exactly.
It's such small.
It
corner.
brings a different
It,
clientele.
it, very different clientele.
Yeah.
It just created a lot of drama on that corner, so I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, Madam Chair.
One moment, please. Mr. Bay, I think this is another situation, we seem to have had several recently, where we might want to have our traffic planner consult on this as well.
Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay from City Planning. I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, I could always, ask him to chime in. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely follow up with him.
I think it would be, to Councilman Hairston's, it would might give you some comfort, a comfort level,
I think that would help.
if we at least have someone take a look at it. To make sure we don't have to add any further controls to the situation.
Washington, just raise your.
Who raised their hand?
Ariel wants to.
Okay, oh, we got the city planner with us, okay. All right, great. Ms. Washington,
Good morning.
good morning, how are you?
Finding you. Good morning, everyone. Ariel Washington, Neighborhood Planner. Just wanted to note that the project has not been to Northeast Design Review yet. And it will be coming. I have been in talks with the architect. They were trying to get through this process. I'm thankful today that they were able to consult with the councilman and reassure him. That also gave me some reassurance. But I would like to let you all know that the project will be seen by PetBot. In regards to you asking about the traffic planner, this will go through PetBot. So any issues regarding the right-of-way, parking will be addressed for the project. Just wanted to let you all know that little piece of information. Thank you very much.
Super, thanks, Ms. Washington. Okay, so what this means is they'll still need to go through that design review process. They'll have eyes on that, traffic planning.
Excellent.
So, and so to you, Mr. Bickerstaff, when you go through that process, should we vote to approve your variances today, going through that will be a condition. And, as part of that, should it become apparent that you need to make some adjustments to your wayfaring and your traffic flow for the safety of the traffic at that intersection, that would be something that will need for you to implement as they see fit, okay? All right.
Yes, we've been willing to comply with whatever. the city-
Right, it sounds like you have been, so we just want to make sure, since you've not had a community meeting and you've not been through design review, and we've got Councilman Harrison with us here today, it's a situation where we want to make sure that eyes are on you and that, the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted, and we've got everything, properly taken care of as you go into this. It sounds like it's a project that, you certainly would like to have improvements made to the building,
Absolutely.
in the neighborhood. We just want to make sure that it's done safely and, so that you're a friendly neighbor. Okay? All right. Any other questions or comments for you?
No, any concerns I have, I think will be addressed by traffic, so.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if I heard the hours of operation.
Excellent. Hours of operation, sir.
Hours?
Yes. What days and what hours during those days?
Yeah, it's gonna open to, it's gonna be open 7 days.
Okay, 7 days.
Yeah, but we can open. We don't know how is the traffic over there, and yet right now, I think we're gonna add Mr. Harrison if he knows better about that.
When we do this, Councilman, we like to give them he doesn't know exactly what hours he wants yet.
Sure.
And so we like to give them
Arrange.
a range.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sorry,
Go ahead.
I mean, you know, because we didn't know the neighbor yet, we don't know how this past, they go for the fasting, breakfast, or they would go for lunch, or dinner, we don't, not gonna find it to open late. Lately, we're gonna go like from 9 to 5.
Okay,
We're not gonna open from 5, we're not finding it.
okay, that's good. What's your preference?
Absolutely not 24 hours. We've had 24 hours of work there at that corner. So having a 10 o'clock close will be really good.
Yeah.
For that area.
Okay,
And I'm glad you called that. Normally I'm on top of that, but I thank you for that.
it's one of our basic questions, and I think we got sidetracked with all the traffic and things too, so thanks to Ms. Kukla for bringing that up. And so the other, one of our other basic questions is, so I think as a time range, what time do you think you want to open
We're gonna open for breakfast.
for breakfast? So at 7?
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna be 7 to 10. That'll be your hours, 7 days. All right, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. All right, now, one of the other basic questions we have is what's your staffing going to be? How many people are you gonna have working for you? How many shifts are you gonna have?
Like around 4 people.
4 people?
Yeah.
Okay. 4 people, 3 shifts or 2 shifts? 2 shifts.
2 in the morning, 2 in,
Okay,
or 4 and 12.
okay. All right.
We're gonna be doing 1 in the station, 1 in the cashier in the
Okay,
morning,
okay,
and then they switch it, 1 in the kitchen.
okay, all right, great. Yes, sir.
And Madam Chair, members of the board, it reminded me of another question. In the past, we've had these situations. We've also about certain advertisements in the windows. We know that beer, we don't have to worry about the beer, wine, and alcohol advertisements. We know like tobacco advertisements to kids or those
Babes.
all those things. And if they are, can it be in like a lower position, not
Well,
a
It raises the question, are you gonna be selling cigarettes, tobacco products and vape products? You are. Okay, all right,
So we want those not visible, right, to, you know, we don't want to promote that to youth, any promotion of that to young people at all.
okay,
You know, I've seen stores where they have a younger looking person vaping, you know, I
Yeah.
think that just sends the wrong signals, and so we could have those inside the store or like on the lower position, not kind of up front in the windows, in the doors, in terms of, you know, for the advertising.
all right.
We can keep those out of the plan.
We're not sure we can make that a condition, but the appellant is here again.
Right,
And it is raised her hand.
right. Ms. Leonard?
Good morning. If the applicant is going to sell vape products, they will need to submit an additional change of use occupancy for their occupancy permit. Did you hear me? This is Shannon Leonard.
Yes,
She's zoning
yes.
administrator.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's for vape products, that's an additional item that they would need to include on their use permit. And the reason for that is I believe there's legislation working its way through the legislative channels as it relates to vape products in the city of Cleveland.
So it's covered.
Councilman confirms that, Ms. Leonard. Thank you for that bit of information.
So right, not having a condition then. Correct, Madam Chair?
Pardon?
We would not make that a condition then.
Correct, because that's
It's a separate issue.
separate issue. Freestanding signage though, in the parking lot, by the sidewalks, that kind of thing, I think is also a concern. So none of the tent style signs, you know.
Signs would be an additional permit also.
My signs, made it up. The large sign that's currently in the parking lot, that's Chili's on it, is that going to remain? kind of resurfaced, and
You have plans for that, Mr. Bickerstaff?
At the present time, we do not, but I'm sure we will, and we'll.
Okay,
present the Project. As we-
because that'll be another route that you'll have to take care of that,
Correct.
so. All right, Mr. Bay, do you have anything further to add?
No, I don't believe so. I think Ariel Washington, cleared up anything I would have mentioned.
Yeah. Super.
Us as a department, I think, we're, more supportive of the new proposed parking plan. We don't see an issue with the landscape strips that they're providing. I think it's suitable for the needs of screening.
Okay, situation appropriate. All right, any further questions or comments, board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, based on the testimony that we heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-100.
All right,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a friendly amendment that we condition the approval that, on the appellant obtaining approval from design review and the traffic.
yes, thank you, we had discussed that, so I appreciate that addition. Okay, could I have a second then?
Board Member Holzer, I second.
Ms. Holzer seconds, Ms. Kukla, if you'll call the vote.
Question, are we voting ratification or is it just a condition of the, just a condition of the action that will be noted, just noted in the resolution as?
I think under the situation, they'll probably be, they'll get approval through design review, so I think we can not hold ratification, just make it a condition.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Bay.
Yes,
Calendar number 24-100 is granted. Be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but please feel free to contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
okay,
Madam Chair,
thank you, Joe.
Board members, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam
Good to see you.
Chair. Always a pleasure.
So good luck to you in your business. You're gonna have eyes on you, so
Yeah, I know.
you've got your city planner, should you have any questions or need any help, and you've made your connection with the councilman who's in the area, so I'm sure he'll be stopping by to say hello.
Oh, absolutely.
Good luck to you. All right, any other council people?
Madam Chair, I did not see any other council people on.
All right, we'll look back up to the top of the agenda then, so we'll go to 24-130.
And Madam Chair, I could read it in, but this is the case and I have to use this.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and read it in, I got that to the cues, and then Ms. Kukla will have to do our announcement.
All right, our next case is calendar number 24-130. This is at 4214 Apple Avenue. Derek Maxfield, owner, proposes to erect a one-story granite attached cable garage in the B12 Family Residential District. The owner appeals for relief from strict application of the codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will swear in all who are present for this case. Is there anyone in the room who's present? Okay. Feel free to come forward to the table. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and then give your address.
I do. Derek Maxfield, DREK MAXFIELD. The address is 4214 Apple Avenue, rear lot, Ohio 441.
Thank you. Is there anyone online wishing to speak? Okay, hearing nothing, back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you.
Madam Chair, for the record and to the appellant, should state that with the 3 members of the table right now, any decision that is made is required to, in order for it to pass, it must have 3 votes. It must be unanimous. If it is not unanimous, then the variance fails. So at this time, you can ask for postponement. We may not have a full member forward until October.
I prefer to move forward if that's all right.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Chair. The property, there's been no change in zoning since 1929. We didn't find anything in our records administration office. There are no variances on file. We did find in the more recent history that in 2016, permit was issued to re-roof a single-family dwelling. 2021, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the use of the property is a single family. And in 2022, there was a permit issued to remove and rebuild interior of all affected areas. However, we do not know what affected those areas. There was no mention of fire or that. So that's all that I have. Thank you much.
So how did you phrase that? Remove and,
Rebuild all affected areas. Perhaps the appellant can expand on that.
Yeah.
I think there was some
we'll get
information.
to that. All right, we'll take legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting area variances from the accessory building location, permitted front yard encroachments, corner lot requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, one must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zone.
Thank you. Okay. You're on.
All right, so I purchased the property in June of 2021, and in its state then, there were no interior walls, no electrical, no plumbing, no HVAC, no furnace, no ductwork, any of that. Since then, I've done all the work myself, acting as the general contractor. So I basically added an entire second story, Sister All the Joys, so it went from 835 square feet to an additional 600-ish. And I've done everything to be green, so blown-in insulation, very high R values. Basically everything I've done at the property has been like very calculated. I will be the owner occupant, but I really wanted to make it work the best for myself and for any future homeowner. So the lot is a little bit strange because the address is 4214 Apple Avenue, but it actually sits on Lorraine Court in West 42nd Place. So even where the sign was put for the purpose of this meeting, it was in front of 4212 Apple Avenue. So on Apple Avenue, not at the property, because there is no true front, back, side yard. So yeah, with that, I'm proposing to have a garage placed in the northeast corner of the property. Here are the drawings. It's going to be a 1.5 car garage. I was requesting a setback 18 inches from both West 42nd Place and from Lorraine Court. With that, I provided some photos of other properties in the area. So here's a general site map. The one with the red dot is my property, 4214 Apple Avenue. And then, as I mentioned, the sign was put on Apple Avenue as opposed to Lorraine Court or West 42nd Place. And I'm not sure which order I have these in. So, well, here's the property. It's a bit of an eyesore at the moment. I'm doing the home heritage program.
Okay.
So working my way through that, but was really hoping to have approval on the garage prior to that. So I will be abiding by historically accurate properties. I already put in wood fellow windows, even though it's not necessarily required south of Lorraine there. So again, really trying to do my best to preserve.
Okay, so you went with a wood double hung.
Yep. Throughout,
Is it a historic home?
no.
What year was it built?
1890,
1890. Okay. So was it just the shell when you bought it?
yeah, there was,
The exterior walls?
the owner had took out like all interior walls. As I mentioned, there was no true second story, so I think the square footage was like 835.
Was
So
it framed, like just the frame?
it was literally the
Yeah.
perimeter,
Just the
that was it.
outside walls.
so there was nothing left, nothing
is-
to preserve on the inside.
Which is lucky it stood up and didn't
Yeah.
rack.
Yeah, so since then, as I mentioned, I've sistered every single joist. I've had obviously all my permits pulled for that. I've had my rough and inspections for everything. waiting on my loan to kind of wrap up
Yeah.
the rest of the project, but I've done everything. by-
Is it crawl space or is there a cellar?
There's a full basement.
Well, there is a full basement.
Yep.
Did it have a cistern?
I believe it did on the north side, but it's hard to tell. It wasn't
It wasn't there.
open, yeah.
Okay, right. Interesting. Reminds me of a house I worked on Thurman in Ohio City. Right.
So,
Part of it.
again, this is the property, that's showing the setback of the actual house from Lorraine Court. So it's roughly 18 inches, which I was requesting for, the garage placement as well. And if you look through, so this is one block over, you can see in the background, my property, 4214 Apple Avenue. So on the same court, Lorraine Court, these were condos that were built in 2019. And as you can see with the tape measure, that also has a 18-inch setback from, the brick road. This is just another view of the property, and then, the property that I've mentioned before, 4212 Apple Avenue, is shown in the photo on the left. So there is literally no setback there with the home. You can see the guardrail in the home. It's basically on top of the property line. And then you can see my property, and then this is the neighbors. It's basically mirrors my home. Again, 18 inches setback from the road. And just another view, so that's directly north of my property, it's McKenna and the Catholic Charities, I believe.
Okay.
And then, I know I did not have this in there, but since I sent, and I'm not sure that this will make any sort of difference, but I did look up the Sanborn, insurance fire maps, and they show initially, 4214 Apple Avenue has a accessory dwelling unit in that exact corner that you want me to.
Yes.
On there, it says West 43rd place, but I'm guessing.
Right.
That was made,
And you're doing just a standard gable.
standard gable, car and a half, I've
So
been,
what are your overall dimensions?
it's 16 by 20.
16 by 20, okay. With a main door on the side, what are your finishing materials?
I'm doing, approved siding for the exterior of my home, and then matching that with a vinyl, that, because that home heritage,
Vinyl lap on the garage?
yep,
Okay, to match,
to match the home. Yep.
Okay.
So color will match everything, it's just, obviously with the loan, they do not allow vinyl of any sort. So they really, initially I was doing the approved siding for the loan on the garage, and the women I'm working with the Home Heritage Program were suggesting I do not do that and do a cheaper alternative. Because my garage budget kind of exceeded what their norm is,
yeah,
so.
you're gonna have a very big garage, weren't you?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
figured since it's so close in proximity to the home, it would feel strange if it like looked different. I'm trying to really have
Yeah,
everything.
but you're
be
getting
close.
some good guidance from them,
Yeah.
so, okay.
So, and I guess for my sake, the lot is very small. I knew that when I purchased it, but I'm really trying to maximize every square inch of it, and based on other properties in the neighborhood. I've spent a ton of time over there in the last 3 years working on it, and I wanted as much yard space as possible. Obviously with the traditional setback that really cuts into it. So I think for like future resale value and for property value now while I'm living there, it would be extremely beneficial to be able to go ahead with it as I.
Okay, all right. Ms. Kukla, did we have any correspondence on this?
No.
No. Mr. Bay, do you want to weigh in from city planning?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. The only concern we have from this project is the sightlines on the street to the north there. Lorraine Court, and 42nd Street, or 42nd Place. Those are the only concerns we have. You know, if there's anything the applicant can do to, you know, improve, I guess, the ability to really see around this new garage. You can speak to that, or, you know, if there's even a possibility to shift the garage further south. Understanding that will eat into the only green space you do have. Just curious if there's any workaround.
How much further south are you thinking he'd like to have it?
You know, the site is pretty tight. The main reason I bring it up is just the sight lines coming around here. So like if this is where the new garage is gonna be sitting. My understanding of 3 feet, or 4 feet would be decent enough to really see around that curve if you're coming down driving in this way.
Is traffic one way on?
Traffic is two-way on Lorraine Court, actually on both of them. To be completely honest, on West 42nd Place, it's used as a parking spot. More like there's no traffic that comes down there. I mow the actual alleyway. There's usually 2 feet of grass that grows in it. So anytime I'm mowing my yard, I go and mow that. I pull all the weeds from it. It's not used.
If you have to mow it, that's indicative of lack of traffic, I'd say.
And I think there is a photograph in here that shows it prior to me going down the road. My lawnmower. So right there, I guess,
So the garage is going on the concrete pad, so you can preserve that little green space in the back.
yes, the concrete pad will be torn out and repoured, obviously.
But you're going on that footprint.
Yes,
So what existed there before
yes,
is the artifact of that concrete pad, which you're just gonna demo and re-pour on that footprint.
correct.
But I see Mr. Bay's point. It is, I mean, pulling in and out of there, your cars aren't gonna be able to see you. You're not gonna see them.
I guess my counter there is, it's the same exact thing on, the condos that are there. They're angled the same way. I believe there was a photo of it.
That's true. I'm looking at it now. These are really tight, Lorraine Court is very tight. And the condos can get their cars in and out easily. I mean,
Yeah. I think there's 3 units there. And I could change the angle so that the garage is like parallel with Lorraine, or sorry, West 42nd Place, which would give more of a corner for people to see around.
I'm not sure if that's better or worse.
Yeah, I understand, I certainly, appreciate the point you made, Mr. Bay. But he's wanting to use the same footprint essentially as the artifact of pad that's still there. And it seems like, you know, the condos are using sort of the same measurements. And, it's not a high traffic. Like the neighbors know how things work there. You know what I mean?
And the topography of the site is so.
Yeah.
Both the streets are tight. No matter where you put it on property, you're gonna have a sightline issue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm like, if I were gonna shift it anywhere, I'm not seeing that it, for the effort and the possible extra expense, we'd have a big enough and appreciable difference. So that's where I'm at.
That's also where I'm at. I mean, just looking around.
Yeah.
I really don't think that there's much to, even if you move it back a little and go into the yard, it's really not gonna make that difference.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, I thought I saw a hand go up, but I guess not.
I was Miss Leonard, we didn't call.
Okay, all right. Okay, any further questions or comments, board?
I'll just be careful pulling in and out.
Yeah. Plan your vehicle accordingly. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion then. You wanna take this
I'll
one?
take it, yes. Madam Chair, based on the testimony we've heard today, I move that we approve calendar number 24-130.
Madam Chair, I will second that motion.
All right, great. Ms. Kukla, if you wanna call the vote?
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bates.
Yes.
Calendar number 24-130 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but please feel free to contact our office next Wednesday for further instructions.
Great.
Okay, good.
Good luck with that.
Thank you all.
I was hoping it was
appreciate
gonna go well since we have the same hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should keep it.
Keep it.
All right,
Pull it up and keep it. These are things that go in a file.
thank you all.
All right, welcome back, Ms. Holster. All right, moving on to calendar number 24-131.
Our next case is calendar number 24-131. This is at 6501 Dennison Avenue. Repeater Properties owner proposes to install a 6-foot-high privacy fence in a C2 general retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the codified ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, for which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Is there anyone in the room present for this case? I think there is, but they come forward.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And I will go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You'll raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do my name, I-R-A-P, I-B-R-A-N, E-K-I-U-H, 650 Madison Avenue, still on the higher
Spell that really fast. Okay, once more, and just a little bit slower for our vote.
I got all this memorized. E, F as in Frank, E-K-I-E-A,
Okay, and your first name?
I-B-R-A-H-I-M.
Perfect, thank you so much. Is there anyone online wishing to speak in this matter? All right, hearing none, back to you.
Okay, super. History of the property.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This was originally zoned semi-industry in 1929. 1941, it was changed to general retail business. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1939, permits were issued to erect a gas station at this site. There are two variances on file, Madam Chair. Calendar 91-34 variance was granted for permission to erect a metal canopy for existing pump islands. There were no conditions on this property. And then in that resolution, Madam Chair, calendar number 90-126. Variance was granted for a double-faced identification sign with accessory price messaging. And then, Madam Chair, I think the most important is calendar number 22-154. It's an identical variance. The owner proposed to install, same owner proposed to install 6-foot-high wooden fence in the actual rear yard running parallel to the adjacent driveway. The same section was cited, 358A, which states that a fence located along and parallel to a driveway within 15 feet of its intersection with public sidewalk or street. No sidewalk is present, it shall be at least 75% open. His variance was granted without any conditions. The testimony at this time stated that the appellant stated the fence and hedge were removed. The city demolished a house located directly behind the property. He stated that building and housing inspector visited the property and informed him that a new fence would need to be erected, so he did so without knowing a permit was required. Madam Chair, I should also note that a violation notice was issued earlier this year. I don't have the specific month readily available, but a violation notice was issued regarding.
So
The
that,
permit was never issued for the 2022.
okay, and that was a seeking forgiveness rather than approval situation?
Yeah, it was erected at that time.
Okay, all right. Legal standard, please?
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. Obtaining area variance, one must prove that denying the request to create practical difficulty in generally shared driveway land or buildings in the same district will provide the appellant with substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose of section 7.
Great, thank you. All right. Go ahead, tell us what's going on.
So I guess, I mean, this was, here before and it was approved, and I wasn't aware of what exactly to do. It's not my, so I never followed to basically, take this, approval to to get the permit. So I had to go overseas, I went overseas, and never came back and never followed up with it, and that's why we're back, and my permit was expired, so we brought it back up. So this began where, there was a house behind the gas station, and basically the city sent someone to tour the house. We had a nice greenery, I don't know if you ever can go back, a fence which was really nice and high, we kept up for all these years, I've been there for like 25 years or so.
You've owned this property for 25 years?
I'm the tenant.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm the tenant that's been there, over that.
okay, so you
25 years.
lease the property?
Yes, yes.
And it's been 25 years
Oh,
that you've
yeah,
been there?
or long, yes, so,
Okay.
And we took care of that fence. And one day I come in the city of Cleveland, hired this guy to remove the house, and he removed the whole fencing, which was the greenery that was up there already, which was well taken care of, because we maintained the whole property. And, they tore the whole greenery with it, which was a fence where, like, some type of bushes that's, was about 6 feet high.
Like a hedge?
Yeah, it was, I don't
Was
know.
there an actual fence or was it just the hedge?
To the back, there was a fence, a metal fence, which they tore that down. So the further back to the trees, if you will, there was a fence there, they tore all that down. And a couple of months later, the inspector comes, basically saying, this is your responsibility, you need to put a fence here. I'm like, you guys tore it down, so, I had a real problem with it. Because I was in my feelings, because they tore it, and now they want me to put the fence back up, that was there already. So, after arguing, receiving papers and or whatever, I went in and, it was a Corona time. And this is not my thing, so I wasn't aware that I need to come get a permit or nothing. So me and my brother went to Home Depot, got the stuff, and we put it up one weekend, and here we are.
Here we are with the DIY fence. It's too close to the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, but it's the way it's set, but there's nothing back there where I see, there's nothing there, so, and we wanted to like block that whole area from people just coming in from that area instead of just going around to the front, coming into the front instead of just walking through the back of the gas station. So that was the idea for me to,
Got it.
And it's not my thing, so I just put a fence. They wanted a fence, I put a fence.
you and your brother decided you were gonna be handy that weekend. Okay, all right. Mr. Bay, do you wanna talk to us about the fence situation and what needs to happen?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Xavier Bay representing city planning. We like that there's a fence there to screen the gas station use in the residential neighborhood adjacent to it. But we would like to see something that's more conforming to the presence of a driveway, because we foresee infill development to happen here eventually at some time. And so it's very likely that there will be a new driveway to be parallel to this fence. So we would actually like to see this fence come down in height, in alignment with the setback line of the residential uses on the street. So this isn't the best view, but if you can imagine a straight line coming down from where the existing house is, as you can see my cursor, you can imagine the height of the fence coming down in alignment to that front yard line. So would actually maybe be able to see better here. I would say come down in height in anticipation of a driveway to be there, so you can actually see any type of traffic while you are walking down if you're coming down this.
So can we take one panel to 4 feet?
I don't have the specific front setback distance for this street handy, but I could follow up with the applicant. They're willing to come down in height alignment with that front yard depth.
All right, so what I think we're gonna try and suggest to you here is you did 8-foot panels, right?
Yeah.
You bought these in panels, you didn't stick build
Yes,
this.
yes,
Okay, so if you take that panel that's closest to the sidewalk,
yeah.
remove that,
Yeah.
take it down to a 4-foot height. So you'll have to cut off your post.
Okay, how about if I just remove the whole panel?
You're welcome to do that,
Then
but if you,
nothing there. But it's gonna look,
yeah, I'm just saying, if you wanna keep that separation, if you take it to 4 feet.
so just tear that last panel down to 4 feet. Basically, cut it down.
Right. Take the panel off, take your circular saw,
Cut it
buzz it
to 4
across
feet.
the bottom,
Yes,
probably put a 2x4 on there before you
Yes.
do it to brace it. Okay,
I can do that.
okay, and then you'll have to cut your post down.
Yes, I can do that.
And
I'll
then
do
put
that
the
whole
panel back
right
on.
there.
Yeah, just take that 8-foot panel off. Are you comfortable with that, Mr. Bay?
Sounds decent enough for sight lines. I guess there's also a slope here on this site. It's not really, can't really see too well. I guess you can see it better on this photo.
I
Yeah,
think yeah, you can, it's visible.
Yeah, our main concern is really just somebody being able to see any type of motor vehicle traffic coming on the other side of this fence if they're coming down the street. You know what I mean? And so maybe even possibly removing like every other panel to give more of a 50% opacity of the fence might be necessary.
You want that panel to be 50% opacity?
I
Is that what you're
believe that'd
saying?
be, I believe that'd be the best outcome.
Wouldn't it just be easier for him to just take that one panel down?
Yeah, but then he doesn't have any barrier.
yeah, that's my biggest issue, where you're gonna still have people coming together.
Yeah.
Would you rather say that the panels are 4 feet generally, or? is it-
No, that, a ready-made panel is an 8-foot panel unless you're vinyl and then there's 6. So if he takes that panel off, does a 2x4 and cuts it down so it braces the bottom and then he can put it back up. So it would be 4 feet in height. But what Mr. Bay is suggesting is that it's 50% opacity, so he'd have to remove then every other picket.
So if the opacity is there, does that satisfy the issue of the height? I mean, I'm just thinking.
Right.
To go from 8 to half the size that we
Right.
had.
Mr. Bay, if he does 50% opacity on that last panel, are you happy with it being 8 feet for the time being? Or 6 feet, sorry, it's 6 feet.
I believe that would satisfy the pedestrian safety need.
I know where you're coming from in terms of infill housing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's where I would land on this, you know, just making sure that there's some modifications to the front portions of this fence to make sure that pedestrians coming through can understand that there's some.
Okay, so if we take that last 8-foot panel and make that 50% opacity, instead of cutting it down, he can keep it at the 6 feet height, but make it 50% opacity. You good?
I believe that would satisfy that.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure one more thought though, if it takes the panel off, you could possibly put some plantings in there to give them the separation, that's another option.
Right, but it's still, if we put an arborvitae there, well, you'd have to do something lower
That would look better.
And take out one panel, some shrubs.
and put shrubs in. What do we think?
I think that is a more aesthetically pleasing solution.
Okay,
And then it would still keep people from coming onto your property, but you could see someone was walking, they could see a car, you know.
I can do it.
okay,
There was the shop there.
okay. So I think that's where we've landed,
Okay, so.
is we'll have you take that last 8-foot panel out and put shrubs in.
And I can go, or just leave still a space, or the shrubs are fine as long as they're low.
Shrubs are fine as long as they're low, so you could do it a boxwood or
Yeah.
something like
Little
that.
barberry, I would maybe do a little barberry, because that might be a more of a deterrent for anybody cutting through.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say.
But not a tall
Yes,
arborvitae.
Yeah, not a tall
something-
arborvitae.
4 foot,
Yeah, 4 foot.
I would go with a pygmy barberry.
okay.
That would be me.
Okay.
Not telling you what to do, because that's really not what we're here for, but,
Yeah.
okay. All
And that
right,
shouldn't be too expensive of a change either, so.
yeah,
Okay, not a problem.
well, all right, who wants to make the motion on this then?
I will do it, Madam Chair. I move
Okay.
that we, approve calendar number 24-131 on the condition that the appellant move the 8-foot panel closest to the sidewalk and install 4-foot plantings.
Sounds good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right. Second, please.
I would second the motion.
Ms. Wilson has the second. Ms. Kukla, if you call a vote?
Ms. Walter? Ms.
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
Yes.
Calendar number 24-131 is granted, ratified next Monday. Come to our office next Wednesday. We'll give you the instructions, 5/16,
Okay,
so that you can
Next
take it immediately back over to building and housing and get your permit.
that was the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday.
Okay,
Come
thank you.
after
All right.
you.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. 24-133.
Our next case is calendar number 24-133. This is at 1945 West 45th Street. Zachary Young, owner, proposes to erect 26-foot by 22-foot attached garage with second floor open deck attached to an existing single-family residence in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Clinton codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Mr. Split.
Thank you, Ms. Olson. I'm just waiting on all who are present in this case. Is there anyone present in this matter? Devin, please come forward. All right, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply what I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address.
I do. Zachary Young, ZACHARY, YOUNG, 1945 West 45th Street.
And is there anyone else present for this matter? Hearing none, back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. We'll take this to the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our records administration, we found that in 1912, permit was issued to erect a porch addition. 1919, a permit was issued to erect a bathroom addition. Madam Chair, in 1979, 1980, a permit was issued to repair single-family dwelling. 1985, a permit was issued, 1965, backing up a little bit. A permit was issued to maintain 2 dwellings on the property. That was in 1969. And in 1980, a permit was issued to repair single family. There are no variances on file, and then in 2016, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the use of the property is as single family. That's all that I have. Thank you.
Great, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting area variances from the interior side yard and required rear yard requirements in zoning code. To obtain the area variances, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Young.
I don't know what, information.
You're asking for two variances.
I am.
So what we need to know is why you need them. And Ms. Wilson's gonna ask you if you have a hardship if you don't get them.
Well, the hardship is, what's not shown here is, we purchased the neighboring property, that used to be 4419 Bridge Avenue. There used to be a house that was less than a foot from ours. The gap was minimal. That property came for sale, we purchased it, and that house is gone. So none of these pictures are showing what was there. The plan was to use the existing driveway, but connect it to an attached garage. I am not well versed in zoning code, so I'm learning a lot here. I did not realize all these rules, and I'm trying to adhere to them as best I can.
Who drew your plans?
Did you hire an architect to do that for you?
Yes, this is Soul Hair Estate in Canton. It's an
Okay.
architect I've worked with. So my understanding is because our house sits right on the property line, there is a necessary, extending the house creates a violation of the zoning code because it is too close to the property line, to the south. I talked to that owner, there's a yard there. He doesn't have an issue with that as long as I maintain the fence, which I do.
Do you have anything in writing from him?
So
Are you able to obtain something in writing from him?
I could, yes.
Okay, right. That may be a condition. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And then, to the east is the other property. The proposed garage is almost on the footprint of the house. But it is, extending slightly past the, zoning requirement just to make it a standard size garage. And that's why I'm here and asking for that. I believe the documents you have say that there is a gap that needs to be 10 feet. And the actual gap is like 8 foot 9 inches. It is 6 foot 7 inches to the property line, and then there's another much remaining gap to that property.
On the other person's property? Or,
Yeah,
because we have 6'7".
Yeah, the 6 foot 7 is to the property line. And then there is another, I apologize, I don't have math, a foot and a bit to the actual property, to the actual house.
Okay. All right.
So you're 6 feet from the property line and then another foot from the actual. So you're
Yeah,
about
so
7
so
feet
the
from-
proposed distance between the structure and the adjacent house is actually 8 foot 9 inches.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, because he's over 6.5 feet to the property line. Mr. Bay, do you want to chime in here and add any information that you have?
Thank you. This is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. We recommend approval for these variances. Don't see too many, don't see any red flags. The only concern we would have on this case is just the maintenance of that fence that the applicant was just mentioning to the south of the home. It looks like the bottom right picture, you can actually kind of see, this is the view of the right of the house that's currently existing. They're extending the back here is where the garage is going.
Yes.
And so they're not encroaching any more into that side yard. And so, you know, we don't see an issue, just kind of extending the footprint of the house there. The only concern we had is just how maintenance would occur, in that sliver that's left of their parcel. It looks like there's no fence here, but there might be something going on in the back here.
So right now, there's a missing, where your cursor is, there's a missing section of fence, that I'm gonna replace.
Okay, and that's in agreement with the neighbor.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I think it might just be a good, bit of sort of CYA to have that letter in the file
Okay.
from your neighbor.
And it,
This is, you know, since it's an unusual situation, an unusual lot. Board questions, comments?
And I just have a question for Mr. Bay. That maintenance concern, you know, probably change hands and over time, there may be a new neighbor, right? Is it still gonna be able to be maintained? Is there enough space to maintain the side? I guess this question is to you. Cause it's all great if you have the approval of this neighbor, but if someone else buys that house, they're gonna have to presumably.
honestly, with what was there before, it's not any different. That whole southern section of the yard was fenced in, behind the previous house. So I don't think it's any different. I'm happy to get some agreement to, maintain it. My understanding is that, the fence is on this property, so I have to maintain the fence all through the entire perimeter.
It's on your property.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Have you had the lot, professionally surveyed again?
So it was, it had a parcel combination, done, between the two properties in, I believe that was, 2 years ago.
Okay,
And I've been working toward, better maintenance.
Okay.
That's part of this project.
okay, all right.
I was just my only concern, as long as they can be maintained in perpetuity, then that's.
Anything else? Ms. Holster, Ms. Wilson, you want to take a motion on this?
Sure, based on the testimony that we have heard today, I would move that we approve, the number 24 dash.
Second?
And I'll just add in the friendly amendment that we would like to see something in writing on the neighbor terms for the project.
And
I will stand.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Holster. Ms. Cooper, if you call the vote?
Madam Chair, just for the record, we will hold that until we receive that letter, no ratification.
No, we'll go ahead and ratify. That's just sort of a point of,
We'll make it a condition of the resolution, we'll put it in the,
yeah. Thank you.
Ms. Wilson? Second.
Ms. Holster, second.
Oh, sorry, Ms. Rehook.
Ms.
Yes.
Ms. Holzer?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Bates?
You look so alert. I would guess too.
Oh, so calendar number 24-133 is granted, it'll be ratified next Monday. We'll send you a letter, but contact us next Wednesday for further instruction.
thank you.
All right,
All right, thank you.
you learned a lot today, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, everyone
Still
says that.
a very long run.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck. All right, we're on to 24-134.
Our next case is calendar number 24-134. This is at 3274 West 73rd Street. Dorothy D'Souza, owner, proposes to install approximately 140 linear feet, of 5.5 foot tall, solid wood fence in a B1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Mr. Wilson.
you. Do we have anyone present for this matter? Oh, please, come on up to the table.
They rode up on the elevator.
Right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Have you raise your right hand, reply what I do, state your name, spell your name, and give your address. Start.
Dorothy Silva, DESOUVA, 3274 7th Street, Cleveland, Ohio.
Thank you.
I do. SUVANNA DESOUVA 3274 West.
But no one else present.
All right, we'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1919, permit was issued to erect a garage addition. 1975, a permit was issued to demolish a store on the property. And then in the more recent history in our Records Administration, in our SELA system, found that a violation notice was issued April 23rd of this year, 2024, regarding the fence question. There
I'm
is
sorry, what was that again?
the date for the violation notice, there was a
Yeah.
violation notice regarding this fence.
This year?
In April of this year.
April of this
And then, also Madam Chair, in 2021, permit was issued to erect a swimming pool. There was one variance in calendar 87-191, actually. They dismissed this request. There was a request to erect a fence on the property. There are no other variances. Again, this one was dismissed. There was no action. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
All right. All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board of Health is requesting an area variance from the fencing requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance funds, prove that denying the request will create practical difficulty not generally shared by the land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting variance will not be contrary to purpose and intent of the zoning.
Thank you. All right, are you going to speak?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, tell us what you have going on. You're seeking a variance for your fence.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us what's happening.
So we have put right here in the yard, so that fence around.
You have the pool put up in the backyard?
Yes,
All right, and the fence is already up?
yes.
Okay.
So the fence was put up, for the fence, we had a feature where, here, neighbor, it's not no fence. I'm trying to get the pool. Luckily, we had the pool gate closed, so it's open to the neighbor. Here, she told us that we provide came down the street and down. Second time, the camera saw him trying to climb over again. My daughter was in the pool area, so I got scared about the situation, so tried to see if I could find out. They keep from climbing over, so put her in the pool, climbing over the fence, so wait up a few more feet with 3 foot to 5 on 5.
Is this an above ground pool?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, not an in-ground pool. And so as it stands now, it's 5.5 feet high, the
That's
fence is? How old is the child that climbs the fence?
He was 8, 9.
8 to 9, still pretty young, and he's climbing the fence.
Yeah, time to watch. He can, he's so that's why it's for that video.
Yeah.
It's good to work about doing that, so I'll come up with a plan, so. Make a video.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if it was really where to get my video, but I did send the video because my favorite camera portrayed I got two capture with the guy, my daughter in the pool and trying to run because she was scared of me. So I sent those video, I don't know if they
Was that received, Ms. Bluebell?
I didn't see it. Did you see it in the main board of zoning appeals?
I don't know, I did not. I didn't see the video.
Okay.
It's possible that if the attachment is too big, we may not. receive it.
Yeah,
If the attachment is too big, the video may have been too large for us to receive it.
They're gonna start to, show one of you.
sure.
Yeah, he will normally like come out and then we bend down, and the over, bend down, walk around. So my daughter, she don't wanna go into the pool because he's across and then his mom looked like she worked and his sister, she always like go to the person's house. We like always find her coming to the middle of the road. So,
How old's your daughter?
I see.
Okay. Yeah, you can step up and.
This is. We'll see my view. Somebody here, there they go. She was scared. I see you trying to.
I might be catch her a lot, but that was last year. I didn't know it was something to say with that piece would come up.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so. I-
Sure. right.
Then the dawn, I, that.
Mr. Bay, do you want to make comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. We would recommend moving the fence back to the property line, and mainly to prevent some of the concerns you see with an adjacent driveway. This picture I took here in the bottom left. We would recommend that this fence be pushed back to align with this front line of the house. You can see my cursor coming down, tracing this line here. I believe that would satisfy the public safety needs as well as security needs for the fence.
Okay. You understand that the concern is the visibility from the sidewalk, right? And it's a safety for the pedestrians. So what city planning is suggesting, and it is gonna be some effort for you, but we have to sort of try and find a meeting of the minds here, is, because we can't have the fence all the way to that front corner. You wanna put the cursor at the front corner, okay?
Right here.
Yeah. So, what Mr. Bay is suggesting is that the fence be moved, so it's moved back to the property. See where his cursor is moving right there? Okay. All right,
The reason for that is this driveway, your neighbor's driveway, if someone's walking on the sidewalk, they cannot see car coming here and
so we have to, we certainly are sensitive to your situation, because it is an unusual situation. We certainly want to keep your children and the other children safe, but we also have to look at the bigger picture as well. Okay, so are you amenable to moving your fence back to that? Do you want to go back to that again? Is that something that you're willing to do?
We don't like being violating and things, so.
Yeah, we don't want you to be violating.
So if some,
How far up is the pool? Because I'm
it's
seeing
all the way to the back.
to the back.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that,
to the sidewalk to the back, the driveway is behind it, so it's, will be set from the fence. So I would have to, get a little in line with the house. So when it gets to the house, where you put that, a while ago, so I have to put a fence that way too.
Mr. Bay, why don't we do this? Why don't we run a copy of this and then line draw where,
We
where
actually have a.
doing, all right, excellent.
Here's an example of. Keep coming down on the side street here in the middle. Within the fence kind of in line with that here. So that you see, because there's a driveway here, so there'll be a lot of car traffic now. Hard to see with that type of fence.
So this is the neighbor, yeah, this is the driveway.
Correct.
So we want to, here, bring this out.
Correct.
And then here. That's out.
Well, I mean, if you want to keep a fence in the front yard space,
Yeah.
we would recommend that it's be as low as the previous fence was. Correct, yeah, 4 feet, maybe with lattice on the top 2 feet, so you would be that 50% of that.
Right here, open.
If you desire to put a fence in any of this front yard space,
Just take it all the way to the houses. And this is the porch right here.
Correct.
On the gate. The permit, the whole fence supposed to be up.
through the chair, the 36 feet stands because that's your property line. We're really recommending that the fence, any part of the fence that's within the front yard setback, the,
Can you just do a quick elevation sketch?
is proposing any type of fence that's in this space to be 4 feet in height. Top 2 feet for the lattice, so it's like kind of open.
The 4 feet, we open here,
A 4 foot high fence in the front yard.
is that one, this way, down here, 4 feet.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this, yeah, I mean, I don't see an issue with this being 4 feet.
Yeah, but I'm sorry, if we read it from here to here, no. It's still okay, but for me to stay like.
Yeah, I just figured, through the chair, I figured.
Yeah, I can go 4 feet from here.
Right.
You go 4 feet from here to here.
We don't want to be redesigning the project,
Yeah,
but
he said it.
I want to make sure that you're clear on what you need to do.
Needs to be 50% open in the front yard as well. It's gotta be picket style. With the 50% opaque or transparency.
Yeah, I agree with the.
Let's,
Would you work with them?
yeah, let's send him directly, who can we send him to give him specifics? We're gonna just send you down the hall, excuse me.
I'm not sure who the planner is, it would be a question for Xavier Bay.
Yeah, through the chair, I believe it's Brittany Pavone.
Is Brittany here today?
Not that I know of. Doesn't look like she's on the call either.
So Madam Chair, is the appellant stating that it's not open to moving the fence back in line with the house?
He wants to have fence in the front yard. The height, he'll move the taller part back, but he wants to have fence in the front yard. So that's the topic, that's the point of discussion.
But he can still have fence in the front yard, but we're asking him to move it back because of the driveway.
Right.
Fence not be solid though, anything from
Right.
the front of the
It
house.
has to be 50% on
Right,
that.
so we're asking him to move it back and then to make it more opaque. The neighbor side. So we're asking you, so right now, the neighbor's driveway is completely blocked by your fence. And people, when their car comes out of the driveway, if you're walking on the sidewalk, people can't see the car coming.
Right.
On the driveway. So we're asking you to move the front fence back closer to your house. And then make the front fence, instead of being solid, to make it more open.
Okay, so all of the front go across our fence side of the neighbor.
All of the
All
front,
of the front.
all of the front, yeah. Mr. Bang, I want them to have some clear instructions before they leave. Can you give me somebody to send them to, please?
Yes, yeah, either I could follow up with them after this meeting, I
Okay.
can, definitely just give you Brittany Ballone's contact information.
Even anyone who's here that could help them. with
Yeah.
this, it doesn't need to be.
It doesn't
their
need,
planner.
yeah, any planner should be able to solve this problem.
Well, one more thing, Madam Chair, if I could jump in, it sounds
Yeah.
like you are stating that the 5.5 feet would be all right if it's pushed back a little bit from the sidewalk, and then like maybe every other picket removed, every other slat. That sounds like something that we're talking about. opening it up.
We're talking about the front yard being at 4 feet. Correct, Mr. Bang?
Correct, they're proposing, that they would still like to have some type of fencing within the front yard space. The city planning's, perspective on the front, fence in the front yard is that it needs to be 50% open.
Right. So here's what we're gonna, whoever wants to craft this motion, we're gonna say that you're gonna move your fence back to the line on the, so it's not in the front yard at that full height. If you, and you want to keep fencing in the front yard, that needs to comply with what fencing needs to be for the front yard. Okay?
Postpone this, Madam Chair, if you'd like. Also,
I'm not sure doing the line still be in the front yard, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Not be over here. Can we look at Shannon's comments?
Yes, Ms. Leonard?
Good morning, Shannon Leonard. So he can move the building, if he moves the fence back to the building line, the house, fronting the west, his primary street frontage, he can still be at 6 feet in opaque. If he moves it to the side, if he wants to remain side street as, up to that 5 feet that already exists, he can do that. He just needs to move the fence back 4 feet off the property line. Or he can do 4 feet, 50% open, in the front yard around the entire building. At the property line. So those are
Okay.
his options, but I think you could follow up with Xavier after this meeting, but if he does all of those things, he won't need the variances that are being requested.
Right, so I don't think that we can vote on this, because what needs to happen here is just a reconfiguration of plan, they might not even need a variance.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We're gonna send you to have, work with the city planner. And, see if they can make the necessary changes with you, so you don't need a variance. Okay?
we
You
can
wanna-
postpone it into October, the first week in October.
Okay.
October 7th.
All right, we're gonna give a date for you to come back in case you need it. But hopefully we'll get this worked out so you don't need to come back. Okay? All right, so what was the date in October?
October 7th.
Thank you.
No, let's do October 14th. Sorry.
Okay, October 14th,
October 7th is pretty full, so it's not.
okay. All right, so we're gonna postpone to October 24th, or, sorry, October 14th. But we're gonna have you work with city planning in the meantime and see if we can't come up with a plan for that. Okay? All right, thank you.
We gonna go to someone today.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms.
Yeah.
Leonard, who can they, see today while they're here to work on this?
Can you repeat that question? It's hard to hear you.
Sorry, Ms. Leonard, who could they see today in the city planning department to work this fence out?
Who can work with him to work this fence out?
Yes,
Today.
today.
Xavier can work with him.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so if you can just stay.
We'll have you just take a seat back, because we have another case to hear, all right?
Thank you.
All right. If you want, you can wait out in the hall if you want to, and then Xavier can meet you out there at the table out there. You see that table sort of in the hallway out there?
Yes.
Yeah, he can meet you there. All right, calendar number 24-139.
Our next case is calendar number 24-139. This is at 6110 West Clinton Avenue. Jacob Murphy, owner, proposes to change the use of a two-family residence to a three-family residence in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 6, with a note that landmarks approval is required before issuance of permits. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Wilson for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. I will go ahead and swear in all who are present for this matter. I see no one in the room. Is there anyone online present for this case?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the owner of Jacob and I'm online. I hope you can hear me. I'm on a train at the moment.
Yep, I can hear you. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your right hand, reply with I do, state your name and spell your name and give your address.
I do. Jacob Murphy, Jacob. Last name is Murphy, Murphy. The property address is 6110 West Clinton Avenue in Cleveland, 44102.
Okay, thank you. And back to you, Madam Chair.
Great, we'll take history of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We didn't find anything in our records administration office. We did find a few things on our SELA system, that in 2005, a certificate of disclosure was issued stating that the legal use of the property is as two-family. 2006, a permit was issued to re-roof the property. We see also that rental registration was issued in 2017. 2022, a lead safe certificate was certified on the property. And then we see in 2023, in February and June, rental registration was issued to the property. And I believe that's all that we have. Oh, also registration for lead safe. The lead safe certificate was also certified in July of last year. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
July 23.
Yeah.
Super. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the Board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum lot area, maximum floor area, and parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting variances will not be contrary to purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Mr. Murphy.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, ma'am. How are you?
Good. You're going to be the spokesperson, right?
Yes.
So need you to go over what you're trying to achieve here with the 6 variances that you're seeking from us.
Yes. So I bought the property in July of last year. I'm not looking to change or do anything to the structure, no building work. And the building was built as a true 3-family. And I'm looking to be able to change the property from a 2-family to a 3-family as just a pure zoning designation that would be listed on the county records. And then that way I can rent the 3rd floor out, which has been built and operated as a 3rd floor for obviously a long time because it's been built that way. So I bought it thinking that it was zoned as a 3-family, but it was zoned as a 2. And to be quite honest with you, I should have done this months ago, but I just haven't had a chance. So I did submit the plans a while ago, and then I haven't had a chance to follow up with Liz and her team. So here we are.
Here we are. So tell us about how the utilities are metered for the 3rd floor.
So the utilities for the 3rd floor right now are tied in with the 2nd floor. My intent would be to permit. And I would only need a trade permit for the electrical, because, what just put a new electric meter in. And right now it's off the second floor. And so the heating and cooling that's up there, it's actually a heat pump that's specifically for the third floor area as well. So, which is an electric heat pump. So the only utility that we would have to put onto there would be for the third floor would be electric.
Okay. Are you metered separately for, I mean, do you have gas running up there? Is that metered separately?
It's an electric hot water, and it's electric heat pump for the heating. And so I'm going to Dominion, or whoever purchased Dominion.
All right. Can we do anything with that connection, Mr. Bay?
I could try to exit and rejoin.
All right. Mr. Murphy, you were really garbled on that last answer, so we're gonna see if we can fix that a little.
I'm gonna turn my camera off. So
Okay.
the
That was a good first.
the last, yeah, so the last thing was that the electrical is the only thing that we need to separately meter for the
Right.
third floor. It's already wired that way. It's just a matter of I would need the designation under the county records to be able to have that, to pull that meter. But it is wired that way, and currently it's connected to the second floor. There is no gas that's to the third floor because it's an electric hot water heater and an electric heat pump that does the heating and cooling for the third floor. So there is no natural gas that needs to go to the third floor. The first floor and second floor apartments are already separately metered.
Great, okay. Talk to us about your parking situation and the parking spaces.
Yeah, so there's 3 garages on site. And they're the parking spaces plus the use of the driveway. And obviously you guys know the street, there's adequate street parking also.
Okay, have you been to Landmarks at all? The Landmarks? Commission?
I have not, and because I'm not doing anything to the exterior, Landmarks, I did talk with them. They said that because there's nothing on the exterior, all that they have to do is just a tertiary sign off. I don't know the exact terminology, but they just said because there's nothing happening on the exterior and nothing is physically changing, that they would have nothing to comment on.
Okay, great. Ms. Kukla, do we have any correspondence on this at all? From anybody?
No, don't have any.
No? Okay. All right, Mr. Bay, do you want to comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is Xavier Bay representing city planning. Yeah, we don't oppose the variance use for a 3-family and a 2-family district. The parking in the driveway isn't necessarily legal because of the distance to the windows and openings of the
Right.
first story home.
That's fine. There's adequate parking in the garage. There's 3 garage doors.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, hearing that, we don't see
okay.
any opposition.
All right, Mr. Murphy, that's one thing you're just gonna have to sort of police on your own is to make sure that they stay compliant within that parking and 10 feet away from windows and openings to the building, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I will work with Liz and I'll get that proper language and I'll make sure it's in the leases going forward.
Sure. Questions, comments from the board, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Mr. Murphy, is the space, are all the spaces occupied now?
The third floor is not. So because I haven't done anything because of time and I wanted to make sure I did the right thing, so I've waited.
And sir, will you be residing here or this is just a investment property?
It's an investment property, but I spend a lot of time in Cleveland, so I may keep the third floor apartment for myself. I haven't really decided yet, but one of my clients is located in Westlake, and I would much prefer to stay in my own place than in a hotel constantly. So there is thoughts right now that I would keep it.
And where are you located?
I live in Miami, but I lived in Northeast Ohio for 9 years, up until 2021.
And you'll be managing the property, you won't have a property management company, you're managing it yourself?
No, my wife does. So she's a full-time real estate professional that works for our group of companies. So she's also an attorney.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we want to do any interviews?
I was gonna leave that when you spoke with that.
Take that one. Okay.
I'm supposed to have a hardship.
So Mr. Murphy, given that you will not be occupying the third unit potentially full-time, do you intend on using the third unit for any sort of short-term rental or Airbnb?
No, ma'am. So the previous owners did have it set up that way. And again, because when I went in and looked at the legality of it, it wasn't done that way. So no, the intent is not for Airbnb. I don't have the time. I don't like Airbnbs. If I was going to have a tenant in there, they'd be a full-time tenant, or it's going to be used for personal use for my business.
Thank you for stating that for the record, Mr. Murphy. I think we have one more question for you.
Yes, Mr. Murphy, my question to you is regarding the change of the use from 2-family to 3-family. Can you describe a little bit about that and whether you'd have a hardship if you don't get the variance to turn it into a 3-family here today?
So the way that the property was constructed and the original usability of the property is built for a 3-family, and a lot of the homes that are around there are designated that way. There's a significant aptitude on the property that is affecting what the valuation is. So when I purchased the property in July, the valuation came in significantly lower because it was marketed as a 3-family, but it was legally only a 2-family. So, and we're talking a significant reduction on the property to the tune of over $100,000. What that's going to do for the city of Cleveland, though, is if this gets branded to a 3-family, you guys are going to raise my taxes, and I will be very happy to pay you more. There's trade-offs for everything. So that's really the encumbrances on what the property is and the ability of how the property is being put together. It functions that way. It meets all the building code requirements because I've gone through that with the team over there, and obviously they'll do a building review based on the outcome of this and issue their directives. But everything is in line to be able to do it. It's just unfortunate that it wasn't zoned that way. So that's the hardship, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anything else for it? All right, would you like to take this one?
Sure.
All right.
So having heard testimony from the owner, and city planning, heard that they don't have any issues with it, I move approval of calendar number 24-139, and I'll just note that for the record that the owner attested that the third floor is not going to be used as an Airbnb or short-term rental.
And also note for the record that the owner testified that cars will not be parked legally in the driveway.
Thank you.
Correct.
All right, great.
Maybe there are no more notes. I will second the motion.
All right, it's friendly amendment day here, close up. Ms. Cooper will call the vote.
Ms. Roca?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Sulzer?
Yes.
Yes.
Calendar 24-139 is granted. It will be ratified next Monday. We will send you a letter, but you can contact our office next Wednesday for further instructions.
Thank you, team. Have a great one. Bye for now.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. All right, that concludes our cases for today, correct?
Correct.
All right, we'll go to old business. We have numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 without objection board.
No objection.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. Cooper?
Nothing that's it.
All right, do we need to go over attendance for the 16th?
I will not be here for the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
The smile on your face with that
Yes.
comment.
We hope to have the new member in.
Okay, and do we have anybody else for next week? On?
No, not.
Anybody else for the 23rd?
I will be out of it.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I knew that was stuck in my brain.
And then I know we have this case coming around the corner. We requested some research on shelter.
Right.
I wanna make sure that that is still on our radar.
We have requested that, so.
Do you want that in advance, or would you rather me send it the week before? Would you guys like it now? I did receive it from.
That'd be great if we could. look at
Yeah,
it
I-
Before the case comes back.
I think that would be great for people to review. Okay, if you
When is
guys,
that case scheduled, Liz?
Pardon me?
When is that case scheduled? No?
No, off the top of my head.
That's all right.
I want to say we put it on the 14th.
Yeah, I tried to avoid the 23rd for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it's the 14th of October. So,
Not,
yeah, we'll update you. All right, I'm gonna adjourn. I just want you guys, if you're willing to hang for just a quick second. Once you have us off public,